This podcast is sponsored by BB Makes, a family-run personalised gift company. From sports bottles to team merchandise, BB Makes has you covered. They will happily work with you to create unique designs for your perfect gift, with a wide range of products, all able to be personalised with names, quotes, pictures and much more. Head over to bbmakes.com. That's www.bebemakes.com and use the code COIS so they know that we sent you. Oh, and of course, come on you Spurs.
Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam. Joining me to discuss the mad and always never dull world of Tottenham Hotspur is Stefan.
Good morning, sports fans. How we doing?
Good morning, sports fans. Oh, we're going to go like 90s DJs today. Is that going to be a thing?
I don't know. I've always wanted to start this podcast with the Good Morning Sports Fan. I don't know what.
Oh, good morning, sports fans. Hello. Welcome to Smashy and Nicey here.
Yeah. Today we have sports.
Yeah, today we're
Lots
talking
of sports
sports.
to talk about.
Yes. I do a little bit of admin, kick off, a little bit of admin. People have noticed that we are now sponsored, and they've noticed the rather delectable sponsorship voiceover that you did, and we've had comment. People have actually messaged and said it sounds very professional, and they're very impressed.
Why does he not sound like in the podcast? Yeah.
No one's taking the piss at all. Everyone's being really sincere. I can tell.
Okay.
What? They are.
I mean, I think I'd be quite disappointed of our fan base if they hadn't taken the piss.
I mean, one or two comments might be. I mean, you can take it two ways. Like, you know, like when people look at me and go, "You're pretty fucking stupid," and I go, "Oh, you think I'm pretty?" You can look for the positives, okay? And I think it's important when people message in stuff like, "Why have you got that fucking Nimrod opening your podcast? It's going to make people turn off." He doesn't say all people. He just says some people. And I think that's a positive. I think you got to look at that.
Yeah, they're going to turn off to go straight to our sponsor's website, check them out, and then come back.
See?
Makes sense.
Yes.
Makes sense.
They are nice people who sponsor us. I mean, I think I said this last week because I was talking about a few people on various times have said to me about, do an extra show, do it Patreon, do this, do that, you can make some money out of it. And I was kind of like, I never really want to make money out of this. Like, there's been a couple of times we got sponsored for a while by Manscaped, and they paid us like a few quid. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take that and I'm going to buy a new mic because the one I've got's kind of not working. I was going to use a technical term then, but I changed it. It rhymes with clucked. And so I was kind of like that, and that's kind of how I always thought of it. Like, I don't ever look at this. Like, my fear is, and the thing that always in the back of my mind is the Arsenal fan TV thing. And don't get me wrong, that's like on a whole other level. It's not like, oh, we're so like them. We're not. But what I mean is, like, there's a group of guys there who, for whatever reason, when they started that, had all the great intentions of fan channel discussing, doing these things. And then when it went viral, because people had a meltdown, because Arsenal were on this bad run or whatever, they made a fuckload of money.
Yeah, it was a strange one. Like, they really cashed in on despair.
Yeah, like they literally...
wow, we're Tottenham fans. We could be millionaires.
Well, this is my point.
Cash in on despair. Fuck.
So this is my thing, which is, if you look at, there are a lot of people out there who looked at that Arsenal fan TV thing, and people listening to this can probably already go, oh yeah, in the Spurs fandom, the TV and the different things, you immediately in your brain go, yeah, I know, I know who I'm thinking of. I
a
know.
couple of people
I've
there,
seen the
yeah.
guy. I've seen clips of this guy having meltdowns over nothing. I've seen this. I've seen tweets from that account, or I've seen this, and so I always have that in the back of my mind, which is this thing of like, oh, if I'm actively making like decent money out of this, will that change the way I do things? So I'm always like, no. If I'm gonna make anything out of this, it's gonna be enough.
Yeah.
It's literally just to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy like a mixing desk for the podcast, or I'm going to do this with this, I'm going to do this. I never, from a point of view, have gone into it like, oh, I could quit my job. Oh, this is great.
Yeah,
It's never been a thing.
There's been a few of them that have done that. Like you got that Man United fan who started off being fairly genuine and okay, and then has over the years got more and more and more over the top because money and sponsorship.
Well, I don't want to name anyone, but everyone knows who you're talking. Everyone knows who you're talking about. But that particular guy, isn't even a Man United fan. I mean, the name he uses isn't his real name.
No,
and
the character he has created.
The character he created. Now, don't get me wrong. I think perhaps he's a fan of a lower league team. That's his team, and Man United perhaps is his Premier. I don't know him, so I can't say. All I can say is that there is evidence out there which suggests that prior to creating this particular character and doing the Arsenal fan TV of just constant ranting and being over the top reactions and making a lot of money out of it, he was something else, doing something else, and called something else. So it's a weird thing. Like I don't begrudge. I don't begrudge people. I don't look at that. Like even the Arsenal fan TV thing. I mean, they were definitely fans. These are guys who were going to home and away, season ticket holders. Yeah, there was no doubt in my mind what they were, but there was a few of them, or a few appeared, that you just kind of looked at and went, "You're doing this for clout. Like you're not like this isn't like you're becoming like caricatures of yourself." And then there was a couple that you'd listen to and you think, I feel for you in this. I know I've been in your pain situation. So don't get me wrong, it didn't stop me the minute I saw they lost. Go straight there. I mean, it was
straight there.
Arsenal fan TV and chill.
Yeah, it was other fans that went, "Oh, meltdown incoming."
Well, it was. it literally was. Like Arsenal fan TV would trend like the minute they lost the game. Because Twitter would just be people going, "Oh, I can't wait to watch this.
I'm ready.
I cannot wait to watch the meltdown. Like they just had a bad result. This is going to be beautiful." And it's funny, but I mean, they kind of cornered the market on that early and did very well. They made some good money. Good luck to them. Good luck for the future. That's never been what I wanted to be about. I just wanted it to be a chat. I always kind of had this thing of like sat in a pub, couple of beers, chatting through teams and talking about stuff in that kind of way. And it was never meant to be some sort of money making thing. So for the couple of people who emailed in saying we've sold out, thank you. I wish.
They sent us some nice bits, but no, not money.
yeah, it was. I got a nice drinks bottle with my name on it. Which, by the way,
got a lovely one with the Spurs News logo on it. That's quite nice out on my desk.
No, bloody hope not. I've not given anyone permission to use that. I'll have someone for that. Yeah. So anyway, right. So there we go. I want to say big thank you to the people who have messaged in. I hope if you do get a chance to go and take a look. I mean, I'm guilty of this, and I will just say this. I'm guilty of if I ever need to get something like a present for someone, I tend to go to Amazon. Yeah. I've got the app on my phone. It's the easiest thing in the world. Few clicks, done, and some poor sod then some poor sod's then got to run around a warehouse at 400 miles an hour, not allowed a break to go to the toilet to make sure I get that, thing tomorrow that's so essential. Yay, I've got a brush for my cat. Awesome.
My ice tray is on its way, delivered today.
Yeah, so I'm guilty of it. I think we all are. And sometimes overlook, to help Mr. Bezos make an extra few quid, because the poor guy's struggling. You can tell. since his divorce, I think he's only now the 4th richest person in the world, and his wife's now like the 5th, which is kind of funny, but not
brilliant. Yeah.
I'm guilty of that. So when this company were like available to us, and they do these personalized gifts, I had a look at the website, and I was like, yeah, this is all stuff that I probably could have bought somewhere else. But one, it's actually cheaper on BB, which is good. But also you're helping people, not Mr. Bezos, not this massive corporation. So I am trying to be better. So if anyone listening to this right now, there's a birthday coming up, there's something like that, then please go and check out their website, the people who sponsor us, because it would be really nice. Because it would be really. I mean, they're obviously Spurs fans as well, because otherwise, why the hell would they be sponsoring us? But
well, that's fair.
Yeah, but do check it out, because it'd be nice if there is something there that you think, oh, that'd be good for so and so, perfect, and then they'll be like, oh, it was worth sponsoring those nice young men from Spurs News. There we go.
Well, I've ordered something off them already, just to try and I've got those the Stanley Cup style massive, like humongous things that all the cool kids are walking around with. Well, my daughter saw one and wanted one, and they do them in colours. So I was like, oh, I like a coloured one for her.
Oh, okay.
It saved me a hell of a lot of money compared to how much the actual Stanley Cups are. So yeah, quids in.
I don't know. You said words then, and I'm just going to smile and nod at you. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget the significant age gap between us, and then you start talking, and I think, shit, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm just going to be like, yes, because to me, the Stanley Cup's a hockey trophy in the US for the NHL. So anyway, right, moving on. Moving on. Tottenham played a football match, and this is a Tottenham podcast, despite the first 11 minutes. And we beat Everton 4-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This resulted in many comments on our Facebook post, but probably my favourite was, calm down, we can't play Everton every week. No, but we played them this week and we beat them 4-0, and in this particular post we're discussing the 4-0 win.
Ange Ball is back. Yeah.
I just, there's this thing, right, and it grates a little bit, which is we have so much as Tottenham fans to be depressed about. Like, I can't, something cannot happen in the world without someone turning it into a Tottenham joke. This past week, Oasis have announced they're reforming. Within 10 minutes, I had a meme sent to me by my Arsenal fan friend, which someone had obviously heard that announcement and put together with a massive list of all the things that have happened from Oasis breaking up to Oasis getting back together, and at the very last line, and Tottenham still haven't won a trophy.
Yeah,
I knew it
on that instantly. They were.
Like, I knew that was where it was going to go. I started reading this list, and I was like, I've been sent shit like this so many times. Like, this player, like this particular player won a trophy, retired, became a manager, won a trophy as a manager, and I'm like, oh, I know where this is going. Just like, fuck you, leave me alone. Yeah. So we have enough, right? We get given enough shit. We have enough stupid ass things that happen. The Leicester game, total domination. We basically bossed that game and drew and possibly could have lost it.
Yep.
That is something that all of us can just feel like an utter gut punch and be like, ugh, about.
Here we go again.
Hammering someone 4-0. Can we not enjoy that? Like, does there have to be this kind of joy police for that? Like, where's the misery police? Like, after that Leicester game, and I felt like crap, where was the person coming to me going, hey, don't worry, it was a point. Sometimes a point away from home can be a good thing. I had to do that for myself. I had to, like, drag myself from that despair. And yet, when I'm really happy, I watched my team play well, win 4-0, could have been more, but we won 4-0, and yet, straight away, I'm like, yeah, we won 4-0, isn't that great? And like, no, it's just Everton. No, don't get carried away. Yeah. I'm not getting carried away. I'm enjoying, like, the moment. Surely I'm allowed to enjoy the moment. I think that's what I'm getting at. Like,
I think, one of my favourite ones was Basuma's goal. and we put a post up about goal, and it was one of the first comments was, "Calm down, our defence is shit."
Yeah.
But we're talking about Basuma scoring.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about our defence being shit? What? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
So confused.
Well, it is a strange thing, because like we won that game 4-0, and that person who said our defence is shit, undoubtedly it's just like, yeah, but it was Everton, wasn't it? So, you know.
Oh, 100%. It was probably the same person.
And you're just like, oh, no, I don't get it. Like, when you've got so much as a fan that like kicks you in the knackers on a regular basis, surely enjoying the moments that you do win, or you do, like, you score a goal.
That's got to be important.
Yeah. Is this a VAR symptom? Like, unbridled joy for goal scoring has left me now, and I do mean this, and it is something that's been going on for a while. I wait.
Yeah.
Like, I get in the stadium, I think you're in the atmosphere, you see the ball at the back of the net and you react. I think that's
when I'm
still
at home,
there.
It takes a couple of seconds for me to go, are they going to say the words?
I don't. Yeah,
are they going to say it?
I mean, I think seconds is being generous. I mean, I now, I mean, I do the Facebook updates for the page, and someone commented recently saying like, oh, like if I'm watching a game and there's a goal, I'll come to the page like to comment or something, like, oh, I saw this and I want to comment. And sometimes like you posting a goal seems to be quite delayed. I was like, that's because I'm waiting. Like I don't know, like
unless it's like clear cut, like yeah.
Like, well, mate, even then, like there was a goal. I can't remember when it was. It was a game last season and we scored, and I wrote the post and I did it, and I put it up there. And then I wanted to check who got the assist. I wasn't quite sure. So I threw Twitter on just to see if like someone like the club or someone had put like an official thing like, oh, or someone's like, oh, what a ball by someone, you know, just so I could like double check because the replay hadn't happened yet. And so I was like trying to do that so I could get the post done. And I've gone there and one of the journalists I follow was like, oh, VAR are looking at this. And I'm like, what? How can they... Like that, there's no way it's offside. And of course, that's where my brain goes straight. There's no way that's offside because of the type of goal. Oh no, 2 movements ago, the ball seemed to clip his arm when he controlled it, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake! Like that's like so. Now I am in this place, in this weird place of like the goal goes in, and then I'm like, all right, I'll wait, and I don't celebrate anymore. Now it's just like, oh, good, it was a goal. Like, it's just, so it's weird. Now, I think perhaps it might be different on different occasions. Like, if there's a cup final, I think I might be so heavily invested and I'd just lose my damn mind and then hope I've not lost.
North London Derby.
Yeah, just hope I've not lost my mind over nothing. But just typically, week in, week out now, I've got no celebration. I've got nothing. It's just like, I wait and see. And the sad thing is, like, then when they confirm it, it's just like, oh, good. It's not like a come on. There's nothing. It's just like,
it's more of a thank God for that.
Yeah. It's like a kind of good. I'm glad. Now, I guess from a fan point of view and an atmosphere point of view, that doesn't really matter. People at home. I mean, to me, it's sad, but I guess it doesn't really impact the game that much. But I do sometimes, and I do think it's only going to get worse, see in stadiums that atmosphere's goal celebrations become muted. So there's an initial kind of like roar, and then it just dies down like, oh, now we got to wait. And
I've seen it a couple of times now where you kind of get that massive, and then kind of everyone stops and looks at the lino and looks at the referee, and you kind of like,
like you see, like, because in the stadiums they'll put like VAR check happening, and you'll hear like,
the groan,
and
it is audible. Like you can hear it. Sometimes, like there's been times they're on the telly, you can literally hear a what.
Well, I watched the game.
The stadium,
I watched the game the other day where Bournemouth basically got screwed by VAR.
Clotheslining, new addition to sports.
Yeah, so it was Bournemouth versus Newcastle. And Bournemouth had a goal, a winner, like 95th minute winner. Everyone's gone freaking mental. The stadium, like, this is what football's about. Like the 95th minute winner in a game like that is what football's all
Oh,
about.
the stadium erupts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now,
Limbs, as they used to call
when
it.
they've looked at it, the guy's gone to head it, and the ball's gone past his head, and his hit from me is sort of upper arm by his shoulder, right? And because of the movement, like he's gone to head it, so his body's like gone like that, and it's gone in. Now, for me, I always thought if the ball impacts where your shirt is there, that's
the
classed
t-shirt
as
line.
shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, and you're okay. They've given that as handball.
Yeah,
and
I
they've
always
ruled the
believed
goal.
it was
And
the t-shirt line.
And I'm going to hold my hands up and say I don't know the handball rule anymore. They've changed it so many times. I'm baffled. But what I will say is that if over the course of this season, I see that being applied the same constantly, then great. But I don't think I will, because right away pundits and everyone's going, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Like,
I know they've changed the handball law this season.
They have again, yeah.
And I was listening to talk sometimes about sport.
Yeah.
And they were discussing it on there, one of the shows, like the Drive Time show or something. They were discussing it, and Darren Bent is one of the presenters in the Drive Time show, and he was saying like the amount of times in a football match during his career, he has seen things where he's like, well, that's obviously handball, and it's not given. And then something else will happen, and he'll go, oh, that's never handball. Oh, penalty. He's like, there's never been a consistent level of kind of, this is what a handball is. There's always been this kind of up for interpretation thing.
Yeah.
And then this season, they kind of brought out this whole, right, no, it is black and white. This is what handball is. This is not what handball is. And they were kind of reading out the actual wording of the rule now. And they read it out. And I was sat there like, that makes no fucking sense to me at all.
No.
It's something like if the ball hits a hand and the direction of the ball changes, then it's one thing. But if it hits the hand and the direction of the ball doesn't change at all, then it's given us something else. And I'm there and I'm like, I don't get, like, surely, the rule should be if you control the ball with your hand, it's handball.
See again, it's difficult.
It's so strange.
It's a difficult thing because, like you say that about, like, if you control it with your hand, then it's handball. There are times the ball could genuinely hit your hand, which you've had no part in, but the ball is therefore controlled by it. Now that is that ball to hand? Is that hand to ball? You can go. I get it. I get that. Like, it is something that they are constantly looking at, trying to solve, like trying to solve the riddle of handball.
Yeah, and we had that nonsense last season before about the natural silhouette of the body.
Yeah.
Was the arm in the natural silhouette? Now, I can think of, okay, let's look at, for example, the way Raheem Sterling runs compared to the way Haaland runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both run in completely different shapes.
Yeah.
So which one's the natural position? Like Kulusevski runs in a different way to Van de Ven runs. Which one has a natural silhouette of the body? And I'm like, it makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
And then, that Bournemouth one, that for me, that was a goal. Like you say, t-shirt line, he has gone to head the ball and it has kind of hit just under his shoulder. He hasn't waved his arm around or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just part of the movement. That's a goal. No, not allowed.
Yeah, so that was disallowed, which, I mean, I'm just, like, again, if that was Tottenham, I'd be livid. So I think Bournemouth fans have every right to be furious about that. Then a few moments later, a Newcastle player literally clotheslines the Bournemouth goalkeeper. And when I say I mean he literally round the neck and throat and to the ground. Now he's blocked for this.
Yep.
Now again, a VAR is supposed to review stuff like that from a point of view of that was dangerous. That's a red card. Like, he's literally, like, so two players face off and one of them pushes the other one in the face. Hand to face, red card, off you go. But clotheslining around the neck of a goalkeeper is now okay.
Yeah, you had the See, now, someone tweeted about this. The week before, the Newcastle defender got sent off because two people's head butted. Well, their foreheads brushed each other, and the Southampton tart went down like he'd been shot. And someone tweeted, like, VAR are now just trying to correct last week's mistake. And like part of me is like, please, gosh, do not let VAR get down to a tactic where they're now like, yeah, we did miss that in their last game, so maybe we'll just miss this one. Yeah, like if that starts happening, then we have problems.
I think we have problems anyway. I have gone from technology in football, me feeling it's inevitable and it just needs improving, like the officiating standards. For me, all VAR has done is highlighted how shit the officials are in this country. Because when you watch VAR in Europe and when you watch VAR in football tournaments like the World Cup, it seems to work so much better until the English officials are involved.
Straight away.
And it just becomes a fucking calamity.
Yeah, but we have the best league in the world. Why can't we have the best officials in the world? Like, why... And this is going to sound a bit silly, but all of the referees are like English. They're all English referees in the English Premier League.
Yeah.
Well, look at the player. Like Wolves didn't even start an English player in their starting 11, I think it was.
Yeah.
So why do the referees have to be English? Why can't we just have the best referees in the world officiating the best league in the world?
Yeah, that's a whole other debate.
Yeah,
that's a whole other can of worms. But the thing that annoys me now is to the point that it is the enjoyment. Like VAR, this is going to stop all of the debate over things. It's not. It's made it worse.
It's made it so much worse.
It's made it worse because I think as fans, if a referee misses something in real time, it is annoying as it is, and as frustrated as you are, you at least have that in your mind of, oh, it happens fast, minding a game, doesn't it? Like, he's human. Yeah. We're all human. We all make mistakes. And that is aggravating, but at least you had that. When you know... The
referee's back was turned. He didn't see the guy stamp on his foot.
Fair enough. Someone has watched replay after replay after replay, drawn freaking lines in everything, and they've still cocked it up. Like, to the point... And I'm not talking about ones that we've all debated and gone, oh, I think that's wrong, but they've said, no, we're right. I'm talking about the ones where they then come out and apologised. Like, they have actually cocked things up to the point that they have had to come out and go, look, yeah, we got that so wrong.
I remember it got so bad that they had to then do a Sky Sports show, like, every Monday night talking through the controversial decisions. Yeah. And I'm like, something's not right when you've had to make a TV show to explain.
It's shite. And so for me, I think the only way that football gets back to joy in the moment is to abolish it. I'm actually now...
Too much money's been spent and they won't do it now.
Oh, they won't. It's vested interest. I mean, someone pointed out that one of the VAR companies, like, major shareholders all belong to UEFA. So it's like, yeah, all right.
Oh, they're funny that.
Why am I not surprised? So, sorry, circling back, I mean, we won the game against Everton 4-0.
Wasn't it? Oh,
yeah. We won the game 4-0. I was delighted with it. Son Heung-min got 2 of the goals, our club captain.
Dan, how do you want to sell him now? Dan.
Hey, you were part of that as well. Don't go just throwing Dan under the bus. Polynesian Dan stands by what he said. He still thinks we should have sold Son in the summer. I still think that
he's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's opinions though. It doesn't matter. It's just all opinions. But he scored 2 goals, so blow it out your ass, Dan. We also...
I love the high press one that he got off of Pickford. Yeah. But that, to me, that's what Angel is. He wants that high press. And when he nicks the ball off Pickford and rolls it into the net, you're kind of like, that is exactly what we should be doing. I loved that.
I like, to be honest with you, all the goals had something which Basuma smashing in and going to the manager,
giving him a hug.
Yeah, I mean, he basically apologised in front of the fans. He did like a gesture to the fans, like how sorry he is. He then went to the manager again, like, I'll try and do better, boss. And hopefully he uses this. I said this when he got banned for a game. I hope that he uses this as a a motivator and a kind of,
kick up there.
Because he is a good player, but he does seem consistency goes. So there's that. So I enjoyed that goal. Sonny's first goal, like you said, the press to do that was phenomenal. I like that. I like that, and also I hope it fuels the whole front line. I hope seeing that happen.
They should have seen it. Yeah.
Fuels them all to be like, yeah, we need to be on this because there are goals there for us if we do this. So I was pleased with that. The other aspect of that as well, as I think people need to realise, is it isn't just Son making that press, it's the whole team. Because Pickford had no options. Like, Pickford, he was trying to shift it to his left foot like he does all the time because he was going to boot it like he does. He didn't have a simple, I'll just knock that to so-and-so, I'll just knock that over there. He was shifting it so he could launch it, and he just miskicked it and gave Son a chance, and that was it. Son's second goal, of course, was created by a very high press indeed on the edge of our own box by Mickey van der Ven, who basically decided, fuck it.
70 yards, I can run that. No worries. Yeah.
Well, you say that run that no worries. There's a rumour that he's injured and he's going to miss the Newcastle game. Because he did during the game hyperextend his knee. It was horrible, and I thought, oh no, we've lost him. And now there's a rumor circulating that after the game, he's been injured. Of course, rumors circulate a lot, so there's no sort of clarification on that at the time of recording, anyway. So we'll wait and see on that one. But I mean, him basically picking the ball up and running right through the middle of the park. All the way with Everton kind of looking at him. It was funny.
We can get close to him. I can't get close to him.
No. I mean, he's so frigging fast, and he's a freaking unit as well. Once he got on that charge, but the thing I liked, and this is the thing that typically when you see the defender make a charge like that, or someone who's not used to making a charge like that, they then fuck it. Like, I'm going to shoot. Or like, the pass gets
and
over
slice
here.
it off for a throw-in.
Something kind of then is like, But he didn't. He picked the pass perfectly. And Sonny's finish was, again, superb. By the way, and I know this is so silly, did you see Arsenal fans were angry about that goal?
No.
Yeah, so Arsenal fans were putting up clips, which then Tottenham fans started doing as well, because they obviously just thought it was funny, of Sonny going through in goal against Man City with the whole goal in front of him and hitting the keeper. And yet, from that angle, with one of the biggest keepers in the league, he manages to tuck it away, no problem.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Arsenal fans, you did that like it was some conspiracy, and Tottenham fans embraced it as like, we know he did it on purpose. Fuck you.
Yes.
So yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was like when Son hit the shot. In my head, I was like, "That's a goal." Like as soon as his foot swung to shoot, I'm like, "It's a goal."
Yeah.
But when you actually look at the angles and how small a gap he had to get that ball through, that's a hell of a finish.
Yeah.
But like in my head, as soon as he got the ball, I'm like, goal. It was
never
not going to be a goal.
Because he is that good of a player that you genuinely do think he will score in those situations. There's not many. And it was
also one of those silly things like Van der Ven had just run 70 yards with the ball and made that pass. And like something in my brain was like, well, he can't miss now because otherwise Mickey's done that for no reason. Like that would be ridiculous. Like it has to go in.
Yeah. Well, no, and he scored. It was good. The fourth goal, of course, was Cutie, making his 100th appearance for us.
Yes.
And absolutely friggin' annihilated this header. He does this, and I like that. He was the top goal-scoring defender in the Premier League last season.
I think he will be this season.
Well, potentially. There is something going on with us in corners which is hurting my brain. We don't defend them well. There's no two ways about that. We don't. And it's clearly an organisational thing. So that fucking needs addressing. I don't care what Ange says, it needs addressing. When it comes to offensive corners, we are also painfully inadequate and ineffective.
They're either flying over everyone and heading out the other side of the box, hitting the first man, Or we do the one thing that I hate possibly more than anything else in football. We take a short corner and then it comes to nothing.
Yeah.
And I hate that. Like, if you're going to take a short corner, that is because you have clearly worked on something on the training ground where like, we'll do a couple of passes and then this will happen. And then when it doesn't happen, I'm always like, just lump it in the fucking box. It drives me insane when we do short corners.
I guess similar to you, I don't have an issue with short corners. I feel like varying things up keep teams honest. Like, there's a reason you do it. You do a few short corners, they'll become committed to sending men over in that area. You then send a guy like you're going to do it again, and you whip a ball, or you create. So there's reasons behind you do these things. But we are actually, because of the way we play now, we're actually forcing set pieces like corners on a pretty regular basis.
Yep.
And you've got Van de Ven, who's a freaking unit size, and QT Romero is without doubt a massive threat in the opposition box. Without a shadow of doubt, he's a massive threat in the opposition box. You've got Solanke when he's fit, or Richarlison, who both are very good in the air. So again, should be a massive threat. You've got Maddison, one of the best dead ball players in England, really, who's whipping in these corners. And you've got guys like Pedro Porro and Basuma's just proven it, who can sit on the edge of the box, and if it comes to them, have got the ability to hit the target from range and with power.
Pedro Porro can hit a freaking rocket from the edge of the box.
He really can. So you have got so many options in that from an offensive set piece point of view. How we go games and games and games where we are 10 plus for corners and not threatening the goal. Now, I know Claxon, we scored from a corner in this game, and that's brilliant. But I think we had 14. I can't remember exactly, so apologies, but I think we had a lot.
Yeah, there was a fair few I remember being taken.
So it's this kind of like, it's like a crazy thing to me. Like I don't fully get. I mean, like, I actually understand when Ange gets pushed in these press conferences. I think he kind of levers back on it because it's like, for fuck's sake, I think what the point he's trying to make is like, look, if my biggest problem is that we concede from a corner and we don't score enough from corners, whoop-de-doo, but it's not my biggest problem.
Yeah.
Like my biggest problem is that we're not doing this, we're not doing that, we're not seeing game, we're not doing what I'm asking us to do, like the non-stop, relentless thing. So
if we concede 15 corners in a game, but they score from one, does that make us bad at corners?
Yeah, no, you
can almost flip that to if we get 15 corners in a game, but we only score from one.
Yeah, no, and it's absolutely right because, but his point is also valid. Like the whole thing about Tottenham can't defend corners. I said it a minute ago. We do struggle with it, and like against Everton, they had a good run of corners themselves. And every single time, it felt like there was a scramble in the box.
I was nervous each one.
It didn't feel like, none of them felt like someone took command. I think there was one or two where the delivery wasn't great and Vicario dealt with it, which is perfect. That's what you want. But it never felt like anyone back there had it handled. And it's a weird thing. When Kane was with us, he would sort of monitor that front post. And he was good in the air. If the ball came into that area, Kane typically dealt with it. And we kind of miss that. Now, Richarlison has the ability, does that. But, of course, we never picked Richarlison in this game. I don't know whether Solanke's going to... So I'm not sure. It just kind of feels like there's a piece missing from whatever we're doing. Romero and Van de Ven are trying to pick up men. And there's just something not right for me in the way we're defending and the way we're set up. But it is a valid thing. Like, if someone takes... Like, if a goalkeeper has 30 shots at him in the game and he concedes a goal, no one goes, God, that keeper's shit. Everyone goes, wow, he did freaking well. He saved 29. Yeah, he did. He's man of the match. He's done phenomenal. And by the way, as a Tottenham fan, I've seen keepers do that to us. Tim Krul, you're a son of a bitch.
Oh, God, that bloke was... Yeah.
So
the random false wall behind him.
It's just ridiculous. So I get like where you're going from, and like the criticism too. Like I see a lot of people right now questioning Vicario, like, oh, we need a better keeper to move. I'm like, I don't get where this has come from. I get that we've conceded goals from set pieces, but you've got to remember last year, Vicario was getting fouled all the time, and the referees weren't giving it. to the point that the referees made a statement before this season began and went, "Oh yeah, we've looked at that, and yeah, Tottenham and a few teams were right. That is a foul." So, not for the first time, something's happened to us, screwed us over continuously, and then they've changed the rules. Like, actually, we thought about it, and no, that's not right.
A point. Yeah, that pisses me off.
Sissoko's armpits, the other one, but it aggravates me. So Tottenham last season did everything right in that regard. They wrote to the referees. They said, "Look, we believe that this is a foul. Can you clarify because it's not being given?" And the referees responded like, "Oh, the referee's judgment, etc. Your keeper needs to be strong." It's sort of like people kept saying, "Oh, he needs to be stronger there. He needs to be this." Yeah, but you've got to remember, like, this isn't the 70s and the 80s where the goalkeeper can come out with his knees up, his arms everywhere, feet flying, and if you get in the keeper's way, you're dead, and that's fine. You were in the keeper's way.
That was the best bit about Sunday League football.
Well,
yeah, I'm the keeper. I'm gonna nut someone.
Yeah, it ain't Mean Machine. It ain't Jason Statham coming off his line with a kung fu kick. It's just the whole point to this is like the game has changed in that regard, and it was uncertainty. He had uncertainty in his mind of what the rules were and he needed some clarity. Now, in a season, that I imagine is a problem. Now, going into this season, the referees have clarified it, and guess what? We're 2 games in across all the matches. Have you seen one person really all over the goalkeeper like we were before? No, we haven't. Nope. I can tell you that. Yes, people stand their ground, stand in the way, but that wasn't it. Last year, people were literally holding him around his waist. They were pushing, pulling, they were doing all sorts.
Or someone undone his glove, didn't they? Someone unzipped his glove.
This is all bullshit that now, this season, they've told every team, look, we see that, it's done. And if VAR sees it, like you score and VAR looks at it, that goal's getting ruled out. So don't friggin' do it. So every team's been briefed the same way. And so the constant criticism I'm seeing laid at Vicario, I don't get. I'm not with that. He is a good goalkeeper. He's a fantastic shot stopper. He is good with his feet. He does have the ability to come out. We as a team need to organise ourselves better back there, in my humble opinion. The zonal marking thing works to a point. The man marking thing works to a point. You have to have a kind of hybrid of like, okay, we're defending our corner. Our defenders, our best defender, Romero, you're picking people up. They're attackers. You're marking them out of the game. But then zone 1 is the front post. Zone 2 is this. And zone 3 is this. And in zone 1, Solanke, anything comes in there, you're heading it away. Or Richarlison. Yep. Zone 2, that's you, keeper. That is your area. If people are in the way, you come through them. Do you know what I mean? It's like, make it frigging clear to them and drill it. Drill it 10 times a fucking day. Every day until it becomes muscle memory. Defending a corner, bang, this is what we do. And it just doesn't feel like they're doing that. Like, to me, and I get it. I get what Andy's saying, which is like, I am trying to build a culture and stuff and build a team. I am still building it. Like, you've got I can't just like, he has had to do a squad overhaul. If you compare the squad today to the one he walked in on, it is a massive, massive difference. So anyway,
like, just in the playing style itself, the change is humongous,
that's we went through 4 seasons of counter-attack, surrendering the ball, basically shite. So the whole club culture's had to change, the personnel's had to change, everything is changing with it. So it's there's a lot. There's a lot going on. Anyway, we smashed Everton 4-0. Can we play them every week? I wish. But now it's time to hand the show over to the lovely people who listen to us and have questions or topics for us to discuss.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
So we've only got Facebook because we're recording a day early and I didn't tell Laura. So if you sent anything via Instagram, by the way, if you listen and you interact via Instagram, Laura's feeling very lonely. Please message her. People seem to have stopped. I don't know whether that's because they all found out that she's getting married or what.
Yeah, that's a brave statement. If you're bored, message Laura. well.
No, not bored. Oh no, is she going to get sent a few, Tottenham Club badges cockerels today? Now, do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, don't whip it out
She's
for Laura. That's not what I asked.
She's definitely going to get some cockerel pictures. Yep.
Oh, I hope not. Now I feel bad. Look, if you're bored, don't whip it out for Laura. That's not what I said. What I said was, if you... Oh, fuck it. All right. Anyway, on Facebook, Corey Birchfield says, do you feel comfortable with the depth at centre-back, full-back and goalkeeper? If not, who would you like to see? This all stands if we don't sign anyone between now and then. Yeah, that's fair. Transfer deadline's tomorrow, I think. Friday.
It is tomorrow midnight. Yep.
Yeah, so we're recording this Thursday morning. The time's 10:37 a.m. as I say this. So, do I feel comfortable with the depth at centre back? Yes.
Yep, I'm happy with our centre backs. I'm happy with our goalkeepers. To be fair,
So, yeah, I mean, Romero, Van der Ven, Dragusin, I think those three are at a level where whichever two of those three start, I feel comfortable. I do like the left foot, right foot. I do think playing out from the back, that really helps because your natural body angle, I think I've said this before and I sound like a lunatic. The way you position your body, if you're left footed or right footed, is different. So I think it opens up more options for the keeper when you're playing out from the back, etc., etc. I think Ben Davies as cover as a left-footed centre-back will never let us down. Like, he will never not put the effort in. He is not Van der Ven, so the drop-off is significant. I'm not sure. I think Romero is genuinely world-class. I think if you are voted Defender of the Tournament in a World Cup winning team and Defender of the Tournament in 2 Copa America winning teams, you are world class. Like, people can debate. It's definitely a debate, and it is opinion based. Of course, it is. But for me, I think that qualifies him as a world class defender. I don't, and don't get me wrong. A lot of people could argue with me on this. I don't think the drop from him to Dragusin is the same as the drop from Van der Ven to Davis in this team, in this setup. Like, this isn't me digging Davis out, by the way. This is me pointing out that in the way Ange plays, I think Dragusin slotting in there is both good for now and also good for Romero inevitably going to Madrid next season, which I'm just convinced is happening. You're convinced,
though. I think you're right. Van der Ven is a very different type of defender to Trusty Ben.
Yeah, very different in physique as well, which is significant.
Everything. However, I'm with you. If Van der Ven misses a couple of games and we start Davis, I'm not going to be panicking.
Yeah,
I would. He's reliable, Ben. He will put in 100% effort. He will get the job done. Okay, he won't make the gut-busting runs that Van der Ven makes.
No,
but he will be a solid defender.
I would imagine Dragusin starts. We go 2 right-footed in that situation.
Yeah,
but I'm not worried about Ben coming in and being the squad man that he is. Fullback's the one. So fullback is the one I'm really not sure about because I think, again, if Ben is covering left back as well, the drop off in the Ange system is massive. Udogie,
I think it's more at left back than it is at centre back.
No, it is. I agree. The drop is huge. Like that, what Udogie does, and he can't do that. He couldn't do it last year for 38 games. You saw him really fatigued, and then he picked up an injury, and the drop is huge. It is so significant that I really thought we would be looking at that. Like, I really thought that was going to be like, okay, we really need to address that area right there.
See, I was kind of expecting a slightly older left back to come in, like a bit more of experience, but someone who can play the way Udogie plays. Yeah, that was what I was kind of expecting. Yeah. I wasn't expecting like an 18 or 19-year-old to come in. I was expecting like a 25, 27 experience.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I had anything in my brain of like, oh, that guy or any. I don't think I had anyone or like an age or just. That was an area, like, if I was looking at the squad, that's one area I'd have circled. Like, Udogie needs someone to compete with, but also rotate with. because the fatigue level that those guys feel, like Pedro Porro on the right side. Now, during pre-season, which was a kind of wonderful thing to happen, and I really hope he does well, is Jed Spence. Now, Jed Spence's time at Tottenham was done. Like, he went to loan to Genoa. They had an option to buy him. They were haggling with us over that. We were negotiating for him to leave. He's come into pre-season training. He hasn't got his chip on his shoulder about that. He hasn't shown an attitude. He's come in with a complete determination to show himself and to prove that he is worthy of playing Ange ball.
Yeah, like it's almost like he went out to Genoa and kind of didn't like the fact he wasn't in England. It's almost like he's come back and he's gone, shit, I need to actually pull my socks up and I want to play in London with a big club. I want to make it. Yeah. I've got to do something about this.
Well, everybody, look, I mean, when I was his age, I was a prick. Like, I can hold my hands up to people and say I was a nightmare for different reasons. And you only realise how much of an immature ass you were at that age when you look back. When you're that age, you think you know it all. Like when I was 18 years old, I felt grown up. Yeah. I was a baby.
100%.
In my early 20s, I thought I was an adult. You know, I was doing this. You know, you're working, driving, you're renting or owning a place. You're doing all this stuff in your early 20s. That's it. You're adult. You're there. And again, I'm now in my 40s, and I look back. I was a fucking baby. I did some dumb shit.
Life experience.
I spent my money on what? You know, oh my God, if I had that money now, I could do this, I could do that. You know, my priority was a stereo. What the fuck was wrong with me?
I've got a collection of over 100 pops that has grown from me being like my early 20s to mid 20s. Yeah. And now I'm in my early 30s and I look at them and go, I could have bought a freaking car.
Yeah. So there's loads of stuff. Yeah. Like there's loads of stuff you look at and you realise, oh wow, what was I thinking? So I always try not to judge players, because they are all a lot younger than me nowadays, but I always try and judge it from the point of view of, if I was that age, earning the money they earn, I'd have been a frigging nightmare. Like, I'd have been the worst person in the world. I always like look at it, and I think everyone does, like, oh, this is how I'd be. Well, look, I'm being honest. If someone stuck that kind of money in my pocket every week at that age, so perhaps going away, perhaps at loans, because he went off to France as well. Perhaps these things have enabled him to get out of the bubble of like people and stuff around, you know, and focus in on his football. And perhaps he has come back and he's matured a little bit. And it happens at all different ages. Like, girls, women tend to mature before boys, men. Without a shadow of a doubt, that tends to happen. And so when a guy's sort of, and it sort of hits you out of nowhere. Like, I remember, for me, it was like, it came out of nowhere, and it was my finding out my then partner was pregnant with my daughter. Like, I'd made stupid decisions, I'd done this, I'd done that, wasted my money there. And then all of a sudden, my brain went, oh, that's done.
Game over.
Like, all of that's done. Like, I'm not going out anymore. I got to spend money here. I got to do this. I think I went out one night out with my friends when my daughter was like 6 months old. And if you've ever had a hangover and a 6-month-old, that cures you for drinking ever.
Yeah, then it just.
So
that mentality of going from buying beer to buying nappies. Yeah, that's a change up.
It is a shift. It is definitely a shift. So, Jed Spence coming back in and doing so well in pre-season, I was delighted. I was, because there's two parts to this. I was delighted. So from the point of view of just being a fan, I'm really pleased for him because he has all the attributes that seem to work for Ange Ball, which is a wing-back converted to a full-back. I know it sounds mad, but he has all of that. And you watch him in pre-season and he was playing like Pedro Porro. He's playing like someone showed him videos after video of, this is how you play this way. And he took to it like a duck to water. He was showing up in the number 10 position. He was showing up wide. He was overlapping, underlapping. He was doing everything you'd want. And also, he showed his versatility by doing it on the left as well as the right. Yep. So I think in Ange's mind, he showed enough in pre-season that Ange went, okay, if we are going to spend money, I need it spent here and here, because I've now got Ben who can stand in and be reliable, and I've also got Jed who can also shift to the left for me to provide cover, for injury or also, and he's definitely my rotation option at the right. And that's why we let Emerson Royale leave. Who, by the way, made his AC Milan debut and gave the ball away. Did you see this?
No.
Emerson Royale, debut for AC Milan, dwelling on the ball a bit, looking around, goes to knock it, like, no-look pass to his left, and the opposition took the ball.
Oh,
it's like, oh, mate.
I love Royale. I love him.
Someone else's problem now. So Corey,
he's one of those players I look back very fondly of, because I think rose-tinted glasses, you forget just how many times.
Corey, fullback was the one for me. Goalkeeping one's an interesting one. I rate Vicario highly. I'm not someone who's jumped on this bandwagon of, no, he's not good enough. I don't buy into that. Fraser Forster, I think, is a very good professional, a very good influence on the squad. I don't think he's a starting goalkeeper, and it's getting to the point where your 1 and 2 choices almost need to be interchangeable a little bit. Like, if you look at the kind of the super squads that are existing, you do need a backup who, when he comes on, basically slots in. And I don't think Forster's a very different goalkeeper to Vicario.
I think he's a very good backup for the odd game here or there, or, we've just drawn Coventry in the cup. Yeah. That's the kind of game where I look at that and go, okay, that's a game where Vicario can be rested. You can get Fraser in as a cup goalkeeper.
But my point in this is we are always going to play Ange ball.
Yes.
Forster's not a goalkeeper for that. He's not a guy who's going to play on his feet. So yes, him being part of the squad, great professional and everything like that, but that isn't a thing. That isn't for him. So the club
appears to be very. The official Spurs page put a video out, I think it was yesterday, like, who's your best friend in the squad?
Yeah.
And so many of the young players, like we're talking like Archie Gray and like the youngsters, were like Fraser.
Yeah.
So like he's obviously an incredible person to have in this team.
Yeah.
But is he someone that possibly needs to go from second choice to the famous third choice goalkeeper?
Yeah. This is
get a more able second choice in. I think maybe
this is his last year of his contract with us. He is a very good professional. It'd be interesting to see if there's anything more to that. The club, there have been rumours for a little bit that they are looking at goalkeepers. A couple of keepers, English keepers, have just moved around in the league. Like Johnston, Ramsdale are moving around. The club are looking. Who they're looking at, etc. I have no idea.
We kept getting linked to, is it Trafford, the Burnley keeper?
Yeah.
I know we got linked in a few times early in the window.
Yeah, no, I mean, we got... The thing is Tottenham have changed a lot. Like, we made that signing, the Odebear, who had a great debut, by the way.
He did.
Is that how you pronounce his name, by the way? Or Odebert? I'm not sure.
Odebert.
Yeah.
Odebert.
No idea. I'm saying it like I'm in the Muppets, Swedish chef. Odebert.
Yeah.
Sorry,
everyone.
everyone.
Call him Wilson.
Everybody I've offended. He had a good debut, but we managed to keep, we signed that player, and even the media team at Tottenham weren't told.
Yeah, that amazed me. That must have been some proper, spy gear going on there.
So that suggests that who's running Tottenham now, Lang and his transfers, is convinced that someone within Tottenham's media team or across the various departments are dropping text to Romano or somebody, because
someone's leaking something.
He kept that completely, and it worked. Like, we announced it, there wasn't even a rumour. There wasn't even a leak.
I saw a tweet and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, you shared it and I automatically assumed it was from some silly parody account that looked like the official. Because typically there are certain people that I'm in groups with and stuff like that, and when we are talking to someone, I'll be aware. I'll be like, oh, okay, we're talking to so and so, all right, okay. So when it it looks like that's now going to happen, there's rumours, there's stuff. Nothing. There isn't one journalist who had it. I think Fabrizio Romano had it 5 minutes before we announced it. But that's it. 5 minutes before, and that obviously came from Burnley's side.
Yeah.
And it did come from Burnley's side, because literally no one in our club knew until,
so funny to
just
watch.
The Twitter account and the official page were put that out. And then they were like, oh, are we not doing a video or an announcement? No, it's done. We'll do all that afterwards. This is done. So, I don't know about that, but yeah, the goalkeeper thing's interesting. Austin's a very good goalkeeper because he's come through the academy and he's never really had first team football. People kind of disregard that, but he is very good.
I saw him in pre-season, and I must admit, I was impressed.
He is very good. Now, Whiteman, I've not seen enough. Genuinely, I've not. He's gone out on a few loans and stuff. I think Whiteman is genuinely the what you would class as the homegrown club trained third or fourth choice, living his best life. And long may it continue.
He's on like 30, 40 grand a week to train.
I have no idea what he's on, but I'm delighted for him, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Tom Perk says, if you were Ange, what formation would you play to get the best out of the players we have? I'd revert back to 4-2-3-1, which was successful under Pochettino. Am I allowed to say his name now? Yes, you are. The USA coach Pochettino, who did a phenomenal job at keeping Chelsea, down there. And yeah, he's a great guy. Loves his lemons.
See, I think it's difficult because I genuinely do not believe that Ange Ball really has a set formation. Like,
thank you. I'm the same. Yeah,
I watched us versus Everton, and the reason that Everton could not sort us out in attack is because you had Odegaard and Odegaard on one side.
You're going to keep doing that now. Sorry,
I'm going to now. It's stuck in my head now.
Sorry, everyone.
Every time I hear his name, Odegaard, on one side. Well, like I say, I called him Un Wilson because it's a young French winger that we've signed.
Plucky French winger.
Yeah. We got him on one side and Johnson on the other, and they were both just hugging touchlines. So that was kind of drawing their defenders wide. Yeah. But then through the middle, you had Kulusevski, you had Maddison, and you had Son. And all of them were popping up in different positions. Like 1 minute, Kulusevski was out on the left. Then he was playing as the centre forward. Then he was out with Johnson on the right. Then he was dropping in behind Basuma to get the ball. You had Maddison doing pretty much the same thing. At one point, he was playing almost up front. The next minute, he was over with Pedro Porro over on the right. And then he was back over here. And Son was doing the same thing. And where it was like such a rotation with those three players moving around, but still keeping the wingers out wide, it's kind of like we're actually playing a 4?2? Like, and that's almost impossible to defend against because you've got like Tarkowski at the back for Everton.
Yeah.
And he's like, right, mark the forward. Okay, brilliant. Which one's the forward? Because Son's just pissed off over there, and now Maddison's standing here. So who am I marking? Like, Kulusevski's making a run as a centre forward. Oh no, wait, Son's over there. Like, you can't mark against a team that's that fluid. And then when you add into that, you've got Porro and Destiny joining up from fullback, hitting the number 10 position and stuff. Like, it does seem like such a nice fluid formation that I think it's very difficult to write down, we're playing 4-3-3 today. Because I guess on paper, yes, we're playing 4-3-3.
Yeah.
But it's actually more like a 4-1-4-1.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to work out. So I wouldn't, in answer to the question, in a very roundabout way, in an answer to the question, no, I wouldn't change to a 4-2-3-1. I'd kind of leave it as the fluid formation that we are now, I guess.
Yep. No, I think you've answered that well. Ryan Miller says, will Tottenham sign any other players this window? Is there an update on Reguilon and the Chelsea leaving? I genuinely don't know.
We had this chat in the group chat the other day, didn't we? I was like, holy shit, I forgot we still have Reguilon.
So, with regards to incoming, the club started doing little briefing to the press along the lines of, we've got everything done we wanted to do. If there's an opportunity, maybe, but we've done what we set out to do, which typically means they're done. And you'll start seeing stuff around like this player and that player is going to play a big role this season, which is basically trying to fill the press minutes. You'll see the players we've got doing more interviews, and because they know that fans going into deadline day typically want to see their club do something, because people who do it on deadline day, it's like, it's exciting, this is happening, but typically it's like, that's a last, It's the guy in the garage on the way home on Valentine's Day grabbing whatever the hell he can, So it's what if we've planned this and we've done what we wanted to do. Maybe we've not got in everyone we wanted in this window, but again, it's better to get what you need than.
Bearing in mind that Van der Ven was our third choice centre back, I'm pretty happy with the way the squad.
Well, he was our third choice to sign when we signed him. Yeah.
The way, and if we've looked at players and gone, okay, we can't get them, but we've got this guy, and that's how the club now works. I'm happy with that. So if there's not a player that we are actively chasing, I don't like the old panic buy stuff.
No. I mean,
what I do love is that you can almost guarantee on deadline day we will start getting linked to players who we've not been interested in all window.
Well,
and
that's
an agent comes out and goes, like, I'm waiting for Sancho and Sterling. I am waiting for us to be linked with a deadline day loan move or something.
No,
because their agents are pushing them out everywhere.
Those Chelsea, Man United are actually in talks. The swap deal.
They're doing the deal. Oh, that's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm not sure that's amazing for anyone. I gotta be honest.
No one wins out of that deal.
I think all of football is in this batshit state with stuff like that.
It's like, could it be the first deal that goes bad for every party involved?
No, I don't think it would be the first deal that's bad for everyone, but I certainly don't think it's good. So, when it comes down to signing players, I'm generally not sure. I think if something, like, I really felt as a squad we needed a midfielder. We were linked with Conor Gallagher all this time. Players like that we were linked with non-stop. And then we've signed Gray, we've signed Burval, and now the club are putting out, oh yeah, they're so good we don't need to add to that. I'm not convinced of that. And there's a reason why I'm not convinced of that, and I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to piss some people off, and I know it's going to sound negative, but we are signing a lot of very young players who have got incredible upsides. Like, the potential for those players are world-class, phenomenal potential. If they play, if they develop, then wonderful. Yeah. But as a club, what are we building for? Like, we are, in my lifetime as a Spurs fan, or in the 20 years especially, the last 20 years, I've seen us buy some incredible young players. And the view is, like, they will be this in a few years' time. Oh, what a midfield we'll have. Or, Sarr, Gray, and Burval as a midfield free in 3 years' time.
That's the next 10 years of midfield, yeah.
Yeah, but like, you look at that, overdevelopment is just such a wow, what an incredible idea. But the problem we've got, and don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of the club creating an identity, creating a style of play, and regardless of the head coach, this is now set in stone.
Yep.
We have seen this club not only change the head coach on a regular basis, but the director of football. The whole football inside gets screwed up, thrown out, start again so many times. Why should I believe this is any different? Like, what in our last 20 years under Daniel Levy and Enoch convinces me that in 3 years' time we'll have the same coach playing, or just playing the same way, that these players that have been signed, that are being groomed, and the kids coming through the academy who are playing this way, adapting to come into this team and to add to this team, that any of them are going to be fancied by the next coach or the next director of football or whatever the hell we do.
Yeah.
If we don't, like,
a concern.
We need to be competitive and to win things. That is where this club constantly says they want to be. And if you are signing 18 to 20-year-olds with phenomenal potential, you are not.
That's win a trophy 3 years' time, not this season.
That is the that for me is the message I'm sending the squad. That for me is the message I'm sending everybody, and that for me is where we as a club have an issue. It is not, over 20 years of this club, we have had so many players, so many managers, so many things, and yet the same problem persists of not taking that step further. It is just a continual run of being here is enough. This is enough.
We have
Top
signed
four
so
is
many
enough.
wonder kids. Like, Brian Gill joined, and he was meant to be like the next big thing.
Yeah.
We got him from Spain. Everyone wanted him, and he's now off on loan with a hopeful option to buy. But it's happened for a long time. Like, do you remember when we signed Giovanni Dos Santos?
Yeah.
Like, he was going to be like the next wonder kid, and it never happened. Like, unfortunately, it's not something new for Tottenham. But then back then, I always looked at it as buy them young, get them good, sell them off.
Well, that's the problem, right? So what you
I'm
just
like, is that not what we're doing now? Like,
what you just said then, I'm a football fan. I want my team to win.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of a business. I'm not a fan of so when we looked at the Brighton model, for example, of the way they scouted, the way they identified players, and we signed Van der Ven and we signed these players last season. I didn't look at any of them and go, that's a massive upsell value. This summer, Bergval, Gray, they've both, I think between them, this cost us about 60 million between them. Most of that on Gray, so obviously the English tax that you pay when you're an English club. Of course,
yeah.
But you look at that, if Gray gets, in the next 3 years to the level people suspect, and we're still not winning things, competing, then that's 150 million buy from Man City.
Oh,
if
definitely,
Bergval gets to the level that we are all looking at thinking he could, then that's 100 to plus million purchased by Barcelona, Real Madrid, whoever, Paris Saint-Germain, whoever.
Well, it'll be AFC Barcelona by then, by the time they're redone by the fans.
But you know where I'm going with this.
100%.
That's how it feels.
Cuti Romero, we signed Cuti, he's going to possibly go to Real Madrid. Well, he's an 80, 90 million pound defender now.
Yeah. But my point is on this is when we signed Cuti, we were getting his prime years of us, and to me, I didn't look at that and go, oh, that's a clear thing. But if we sign Gray, if we sign Bergval, and then you sign a Conor Gallagher, or you sign a player who's going to be ahead of them right now, but he, I noticed this whole thing about, oh yeah, but then you're blocking their development, But what are we developing them for? Are we developing them to sell them? Are we developing them so another team can benefit from their prime years? Or
Carl Walker being a great example. We brought in this young plucky right back, turned him into the best right back in England, and then sold him, and he's won a load of trophies.
Yeah, there's examples non-stop. But my point is, I don't feel like we've actually achieved what I'd want to see us achieve in this window. The club are saying they have, and if Gray and Bergval become first-team players throughout this entire season, contributing, and then I'll have to hold my hands up and say, okay, 18, 19 years old, and they're as good as 23, 24-year-olds, I apologise, I was wrong. But now, I don't see it.
The flip side to that is, if Gray and Bergval become first-teamers, then that means that Bissouma, Bentancur, and Maddison have all had absolute shockers of a season for these guys to be able to come in and take their place off them. And then that worries me. Because,
I mean, you can only pick 11 players. So, So, regards to incoming, I still think there's business to be done, but I don't think we're going to do it. But that's just my opinion. With regards to outgoings, then, so Reguilon and Lo Celso, both of those players have had opinions on where they want to go and wouldn't budge from it. So Lo Celso wants to join Real Betis. Real Betis kind of spoke to him we'd love to, and they were selling a player called Fekir, Fekir. They've sold him, so that move probably will happen now. But all parties kind of want to get that done, so that'll happen, but it'll have to happen quick, obviously. Reguilon refused about 5 clubs in the Premier League because they weren't in Europe, and he refused 2 other clubs because they weren't in the Champions League. Reguilon has an opinion of himself which is unwavered, unbudged. I respect it, but it reminds me of the Danny Rose thing in the Tottenham canteen during that documentary. Oh, any word from Milan? Shit. No, Danny, you're going to Watford. Enjoy your time there. I was like, Reguilon, hey, Barcelona come in for me, mate. And now, don't get me wrong, and I'm going to say this as well, I think this is what the problem is. Barcelona did come in for him. He obviously went, brilliant, go back to Spain, Barcelona, fantastic. Yeah. But they're screwed. They can't even register the players they've signed. So
no, they've had to sell 2 players to register a €60 million player because they couldn't wage budget.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So it is a thing. It is a problem, and I think he's just been hanging on, and now we're at deadline day. Andrew's made it abundantly clear you're going to play the season in the under-21s, mate. So find a new team.
He's going to end up at Bournemouth on loan or something, isn't he?
No idea. No idea. Yeah. But both of them are literally packed and ready to go. But whether something materialises, we're going to have to wait and see. So that's it.
It's a weird one because both of those players are players who I like, and I think if things had been different, would have been very good. Like if Lo Celso hadn't had his injury problems, I think he would have been brilliant, as he's proven in Spain and proven for Argentina.
Mate,
the injuries, he just couldn't.
This is the thing, there's that TV chef, if my, auntie had a wheel, she'd be a bicycle, or whatever the hell he said. It's like looking at this and going, oh, I really like him, but it's the issue. It's the issue, and it's like you can't rely on him. Like he is apparently pissed off that Ange didn't give him more minutes last season. Every time he played more than 2 games, he was out injured for 2 games. You cannot argue or blame a manager who's then gone, well, I can't rely on him.
I can give you half an hour here and then give you a week off and give you another half hour. Yeah, otherwise you're going to break down on me.
It's ridiculous. So, no, it's time for both to go. They'll both slag us off terribly, but good luck to them. The transfer window, as I said, closes tomorrow. That is Friday. So we'll know the next time we do a show and we're talking about all things football, which will be next week. We'll be talking about the transfer window closing, and we'll do a bit of a summary. Newcastle United's our game. It's away. It's like some sort of flashback PTSD experience.
Yeah.
I have a friend who travels to Tottenham away a lot, and they've done the last 2 times we've gone there away and got hammered. And they're going again this time, and I'm like, why are you doing it to yourself? And they were just like, well, because I don't want to be the reason, like, I don't want to be the jinx. I don't want to be like, so if I don't go and we win, then I'm like, oh shit, I should never go again.
I can never go to another away game.
So it's like, okay, it's like, I've seen us like win in all these places. I need to go to St. James's Park and see us play well. Now, seeing us play well from St. James's Park, knowing that the away fans basically are on cloud 7, 8 and 9, is like, you need binoculars to even see the pitch. It's freaking ridiculous. And I thought,
it's one of those stadiums that I would love to go to.
Have you never been there?
I don't deal well with altitude.
No. You were a trolley dolly. How can you not deal well with altitude?
I was inside something there. That's fine. Yeah. I can be at 14,000 feet in an aircraft. Yeah, when I'm at 9,000 feet, sat in a stadium, that's different.
Yeah, I'm 9,000 feet. I mean, it's high up, but okay. Anyway, I want to say a big thank you to everybody for continuing to listen to us, and everyone who interacts. We do really appreciate it. I mentioned last week about doing something for charity in relation to creating some sort of unique product with the people who sponsor us at BB Makes. I've had good discussions with them this week, and I'm in a position now. And thank you to everyone who emailed in saying they'd be interested and messaged. That's really kind. Like I said, I don't ever want to make money out of this, but if we can do something to do, like raise some money for charity and stuff, then that's fun. I'm up for that. So we are going to do that. I'm going to launch it next week on the show. It is going to be, our show next week is going to be wrapping up the transfer window, talking about the Newcastle game, and we will also be, obviously it's the international break, so we'll discuss this then. We'll launch it then so everyone can get involved. I think, how we're going to do it, how people are going to get hold of them and stuff, it's all stuff I need to work out. So, but it will be next week. Everyone who's messaged in, I'm going to drop you a message back as well, just showing you what it is we're going to do. But yeah, until next week, everybody, you all take care.
And come on, you Spurs.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.